Shannon, do you like what Kenny Smith did?
I do. It's tough, Skip, and people don't understand. And I guess if you're not black, it's hard to understand what it's like being black, because they preface everything. Doc Rivers won a championship as a black head coach. Skip, I remember John Thompson when they asked him, Coach Thompson, when he won the national championship, Skip, and he's like, "You're the first black coach to win a national." He's like, "I'm a coach." I'm a coach. So it's get prefaced. Oprah is the richest black black woman in America. And Robert Smith is the richest African American in America. Everything get prefaced black. So that's what it is. And it's so heavy on because Kenny is a black man in America, claiming to have young black men that's growing up in America. And he says, I played in this league. I think I need to show solidarity with him.
Yep.
Listening at him talk, it's tough. Skip, I remember, and you remember this, Skip, and I went back and I read. Skip, you remember when Doc was the head coach in Orlando, they burned his house down?
I remember it well.
They burned the man's house down.
They did.
For what? No other house was burned down in the community. Just that one. If I'm not mistaken, Doc's wife is Caucasian.
I think they're split now. But
yes,
yes, the mother of the children. Yes.
And they believe, because Skip, if you think about it, Skip, if a white person moves into an all-black neighborhood, black people don't try to do everything they possibly can to get them up out of there. Write graffiti on the door, leave white this, or do things to make them feel unsafe. But if you notice, I was just looking at the case in Long Island and how the couple just terrorized a single black woman and a child. Just terrorized. Why? But racism is dead, Skip. We elected a black president, so racism is dead. This is a shame. And you could listening to Kenny talk and listening to Chris Webber talk, and I heard Jim Jackson talk, and their heart just breaks of being black in America. And what we thought, the promises and the hopes, and Dr. King says, one day I hope my kids would be judged by the character of the character, and not the skin. But here we are, Skip. Dr. King died a couple of months before I was born. I'm 52. And the very fight that he was fighting, Malcolm X, I think, died in '63. The very fight that he's fighting, we're still fighting today.
You got that right.
What the progress, Skip? And that's what's hurting. And people like, well, Shannon, Kenny Smith is on TV. You're on TV. You made money. Skip, the measure of a man is not what he does for himself. What can he do for the people that cannot be seen, that cannot do for themselves? Kenny has a voice. Kenny has a platform. The NBA players have voices, have platforms. So does the NFL.
Yep.
And they're saying the communities that you see, that's where we come from. And had I not been able to jump high, run fast, hit a ball far, that could have been me. That never leaves your psyche.
Yep, I got it.
That never leaves your psyche.
So, my reaction to Kenny Smith last night, first of all, I love Kenny Smith on and off the court. I love him as a man, and I love him as an analyst because he's a really good man.
He's real.
He's real.
He should be building a team of coaching.
I agree, because what you see on TV is what you get off TV.
Yes.
That said, my only issue with what he did was twofold. Number one, he ended up pulling a Milwaukee Bucks on his two teammates on the air, because remember, the Bucks went a little prematurely. It was a last-second emotional decision, raw. 5 minutes to tip off. No, we're not playing. But they had discussions ongoing with LeBron, CP3, other teams, and there's going to be a unified front and a big press conference. We boycott X Games. And the Bucks just said, no, we just can't do this. We can't dredge up enough emotion to even walk through that door onto that court to think about playing a basketball game when this happened in our town. So The problem with that is it left the Orlando Magic out on the court looking like, to some people, they didn't care enough about the issue at hand to not play. It looked like they want to just play basketball. They don't have any real passion. They don't care nearly as much as the Bucks do about the issue at hand. Well, that's not fair to the Magic because
they didn't know.
They didn't know, and I'm pretty sure they do care. I can't tell you that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of players on that team that care as deeply and passionately as the Bucks do about what happened in Kenosha.
Correct.
And it put everybody in a little bit of a bad situation because it wasn't a unified front. So it struck me as ironic that it looked like Charles and Shaq were surprised, like this was not planned, it wasn't choreographed. It looked real to me, that it was a spur-of-the-moment decision by Kenny, and it leaves Shaq and Charles in a little bit of an awkward position. Should they walk off also? Will they look like that they care less about what happened in Kenosha if they stay and just keep doing their job? Maybe. I wouldn't want to be sitting in that seat.
I didn't take it as that. I think, and Kenny said that even on the drive up, there's a lot of thoughts running through my head. What do I do? How should I do it? Should I do anything?
Okay, I got it. But why do I turn on Kenny Smith? What do I want from him? I want wisdom. I want insight. I want breakdown. I want perspective from the one man on that panel that I respect the most when it comes to those things.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely an X and O guy.
He is that. He also has a great worldview to me, and I appreciate always, put it in perspective for me, Kenny. And for the first time in all the years I've watched him closely, he just said, I can't do it because he used the word appropriate. I don't feel I'm appropriate enough. And he said, I haven't talked to any players, so it's hard for me to speak to what they're actually feeling. And he said, my head's about to explode, and I just can't do it tonight. Off with the microphone, and I'm out. Okay. So from my little seat over here, I can relate because there are many days that I come in here and I say, I just don't know enough. I'm not good enough to be talking about this, but I'm going to try. I'm going to plunge. Maybe I'll swing and miss. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to try because I do believe we have a core audience who comes to us, came to us early this morning to say, hey, you guys, what happened last night? What do you think about it? Right or wrong? Just plunge, just try. Well, sometimes I'm at a loss. And sometimes I walk away from the show saying, gee, I wasn't worthy of even trying to discuss those issues, but I tried because my partner needed me to try, and maybe some in our audience needed me to try. So that's my only issue with Kenny is I got it. It was a nice statement. It worked just the way the Buck statement worked because it was a shocker. It startled me. And again, it made me think. But I also missed his perspective going forward because I wanted those three to kick it around and try to make me think about things that had not yet occurred to me about what had just happened. That's just what we do.
Yes, and like I said, I think the thing is that hearing these guys speak, how raw the emotion is, and how uncertain, this is still happening. I just knew, Skip. I just knew, and maybe that's naive on my part. I knew there were going to be wholesale changes because a system that's been in place for that long is not going to be dismantled overnight.
No, it won't be.
So I understood that. I said, but you know what? The cops on notice now. They know people out there, filming them, and they're going to tamper this down. But then you come to realize, well, the protections that they are afforded are still in place. So why should I tamp down? If that's what's in me, Skip. Because they're still protected by the unions.
They are.
Even when the unions know. Skip, it's hard. I mean, it takes a special type of person to know someone is wrong and still stand solidly behind them. They know Dennis Chauvin is wrong, and they still stand behind him. And guess what, Skip? They'll try to get him his job back. If he were to get off, they'll try to get him his job back. This guy that shot this guy 7 times in the back, they're gonna try to get him his job back. And that's what's so hurtful. It's like, we don't even matter. Skip, I watch. Just go on the internet. I watch people, they'll pet a bear, they'll pet a tiger, they'll let a snake hang around their neck. I saw a lady up there at Sturgis. She got too close to a mother and a calf, and the calf picked up and slung her around. But they see a black man walking down the street, and they'll cross over because they're afraid.
Yep.
Now, I'm not afraid of a bear. I'm not afraid of a lion or a tiger or a snake or a wild buffalo. But a black human, because you don't see us as that. You see us as animals, and you're afraid of more.
Don't include me.
Skip. No, not everybody.
Yeah.
Not everybody. Skip. You went to see, Skip, the thing which you've always been willing to do. That you'll open your eyes, you'll open your heart, you'll listen, and you say, okay, let me see, because I'm not black, so I can't tell you what it's like to be black.